The build show's on the road today. You know this house, right? The abandoned mansion. What's up, man?
Hey, good to see you. Glad you're here.
Man, you've done some demo on this house since I was here last.
We've done a bit of demolition ranch, you could say, on the old house.
It looks like a war zone around here, Matt.
It actually is super scary for me because it used to look somewhat like a house, and now I feel like it looks so much
terrible.
Worse. Yeah, like. But in what you've just been telling me, and what we've known as we've gone in this is. This house, the inside of it was all kind of messed up. All the stuff that's rotten and everything. The rock on the outside looked good, but to fix stuff on the inside, you got to take the rock down. So we took the part that looked good down to see all this terrible stuff. And man, it's scary.
Isn't that scary? I mean, the house last time I was here, Matt, the rock looks beautiful, but look at the massive rot that gets uncovered, right? When you de-skin the house, we've got just some serious rot up here. Look at this massive streak of rot happening right here. You know, we talked last time about these parapet walls, and I love the analogy of houses, older houses that have big overhangs are like having a golf umbrella on. When you have a big golf umbrella, it kind of doesn't matter what rain jacket you have on, but if you have no umbrella, which is like these flat roof area here, you better make sure that you have the best Patagonia jacket you can buy that is perfectly zipped up. There's no rips and tears. So speaking of rips and tears, let me show you something over here that Matt and I found. So these windows, you'll notice there's a brick mold around these windows, and when I first saw it, I thought that was like the manufacturer's brick mold that's added to windows, but no, there's no nailing flange. I think what happened here is you've got a builder that was building windows for himself, and so these windows you're seeing here are literally brick mold from the home center that was installed, and then the window was back caulked or glazed from the inside, and that's it. And they took a lot of care to put the brick mold on with a bunch of caulking and flashings and that sort of thing. Although interesting to see how degraded these are, Matt. Look at this.
I know. That's the same thing.
Alligatored and
all just falls apart.
It's just totally falling apart.
Not waterproof.
But what else is interesting is that these windows, if you want to call them that, they probably had glass in them for a while, but they had two things going against them. Look at that right above us. We got a scupper directly above us that was dumping water down every time it rained from that roof right onto this window. And the other big mistake that I see all the time is this right over here. In this corner section right here, where they put this window flashing down. Number one, they reverse flashed it, right? They put this section down, then they flapped this over top. Big mistake. Number two, they used the flat material that's been cut right here. And look at that. What was happening, Matt, was when they cut this, it left a vulnerable corner with just a little bit of water getting in there. But this wouldn't let any of the water out, wouldn't let any drying or drainage occur. And as a result, even this really high-grade plywood they used in this area rotted. And even worse on this side because I think it was getting scupper water over there.
And was this wrong product or wrong use of that product?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. You probably could have made this work, but you would have had to use another corner protector here, which they didn't do. So it's a little bit of both. It's 90% of the failures that I see with windows, Matt, is bad install and not the window itself. And it's not really thinking about the shingling, right? Because this piece was put on first, this piece was put on after, so it was reverse lapped, reverse shingled. And that's the cause of most windows leaking, most doors leaking, and most rot on houses. And then if we go on the inside, Matt, check this out too. In that corner of this window right here, you can see that water going in and just absolutely rotted it all out.
Looks okay.
Yeah, not so much.
I think it's supposed to do that.
Oh man. Good call on taking the rock down, Matt. By ripping all that rock off, getting back to the sheathing and putting some really good Huber zip on there, we can make sure the house is watertight and airtight. We'll install these windows with their stretch tape so we can make sure we don't have that cut corner.
Yep.
It's gonna be really good.
It's definitely, I had both feelings. When we took it all, when we started seeing it all come off, I had the feeling of, oh no, like we're going backwards. Like what have we done? But then you see all the rot and you're like, well, this was the only way to go. You have to do that. You can't have this kind of stuff hiding underneath a pretty, piece of sheetrock.
Yeah.
So it's the right decision. It's just scary to see.
And the budget's gone up though too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm doing a remodel on a project for myself too. It's on my street. Yep. And when I started, I thought, oh, I'm gonna spend like, maybe 50 to 100 grand on this remodel.
Yeah.
And the more I got into it, I realized, gosh, we just have more issues and more problems. And I can't do anything halfway and leave a bunch of stuff, just
Right,
like you don't want
right.
to leave that rot.
Right. Might as well make it right.
Let's might as well make it right. And if you're gonna do it, let's do it the right way.
Yep.
Did you find any areas though, Matt, in the house that didn't really seem to have any rot or problems though? Like where the OSB looked like it's almost original?
We did, right back here in the master.
Let's go see. All right, man, so now this is master bedroom, right?
Yep, master bed. This is master bath.
Master closet, master bath.
Master closet's here, vanity's here. But yeah, this is the OSB. Looks really good.
Yeah, look at that. That
Looks
looks
factory fresh.
It looks like just installed yesterday, but this is probably 20 years old, right?
It is. Yeah, it was installed at the same time. This is a good comparison. Well, actually, and here's a good comparison. All that rotten stuff right there was installed, I'm assuming, at the exact same time.
Yes.
It looks totally different.
And again, Matt, look where you're seeing that rot is
Yep.
on the corners of the windows.
Yep.
You know, I always say that there's a good majority of windows, no matter the manufacturer, that are going to leak. So we always need to prep an opening with a sill pan that's made for that. And there's some manufacturers that are better than others. But regardless, you got to be really cautious. We always need to install that no waterproof opening. But then when you get higher, look, when we're near the overhangs, that looks fine
Everything's
there.
fresh again, yeah. Where
Yeah.
it doesn't get water.
But as pretty as it looks there, you've just recently ripped off this rock. Let's walk out to the back and see what this face looks factory fresh and see what the other face looks like, shall we? All right, man, so this is your master porch, basically, right?
The balcony off the master bedroom.
How about that view? That doesn't get old, does it?
It's not old yet.
No. All right, so that's the wall right there we were seeing.
That's right off the master closet, yes.
And it's interesting, that wall is beautiful and perfect on one side, but gray and faded on the other side, and has a little bit of kind of mold happening there.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt, this is interesting too. That whole wall there that was taken down, you're seeing some of the brick ties on that wall. That was installed traditionally like a brick install, whereas this section of the house, see they've got chicken wire up here?
Yep.
They basically stuck this on like stucco. So no air gap behind here. So my guess is as you start taking this house off, everywhere they use rock or stucco with chicken wire, there's no air gap back there. There's gonna be extra rock.
Well, and they did put, now is this covering behind it,
Mm-hmm.
did they put that up there because that's how you do for stucco? And so
That's
they're
right.
planning on stuccoing maybe, and then they changed their mind and decided to rock it over?
That could be, because this is basically lumpy stucco, right? Rock and stucco are both masonry products, and they're stuck onto the building, kind of like a tile install on the outside.
Yep.
And the chicken wire holds it on structurally. This is stapled on into the studs. But they're putting this on so that the house wrap that was used, this white house wrap here, wouldn't take the extra load. In fact, the mortar would stick to this black paper here, and then once the paper got wet, it would crinkle up a little bit and create a drainage path between the house wrap and that black paper. So that's how you would install stucco. So that he was, or she was following good building practices when they did that. However, in general, this type of install is less, or is more prone to failure. It has less forgiveness than an install where there's an air gap behind it.
Gotcha.
So this wall over here with an air gap fared pretty well. One little section of mold. These walls here where you have all this, I bet you're gonna have more problems. And if you look out the top here, where you've got these stucco walls to the sky,
Yep.
and then you turn the corner and the back of the house has that, that's where you're gonna find the big problems, man. I bet this wall on the back face of the house, if we fly the drone and show that,
Very bad.
when that starts coming down, that's when it's gonna get nasty.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, as much as the install was good, there is some weird features.
What? You're not going to put that on your next build?
What is up with the jade green rock and these fake rocked over windows?
What's crazy is that's not even the weirdest part about this house.
Yeah, it's not.
A lot
That
of
is
strange.
true.
A lot of strange to it.
There's a lot of strange stuff. Matt, thanks for having me out, dude. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
You're building
coming.
a good
Thanks
house
for the
over here,
knowledge.
man.
I appreciate it.
Totally. Next time I come, I'm hopefully going to have a semi-trailer full of this, and we can show you how to resheathe this house, how to re-waterproof it, how to make it nice and airtight.
That will
and
do
then
a lot.
insulate it correctly.
That'll do a lot for calming me down because right now I'm getting a little worried.
You're
Let's be
gonna-
honest.
You're gonna be fine, Matt. This is a good project, dude. You're doing it right, guys. If you don't know Matt already, he actually has 3 channels. He's a giant YouTuber. It's been super fun to come out and hang out with Matt at this abandoned mansion project. I'll put a link to Off the Ranch, which is a channel you can see Matt's videos over here, and also check out Demo Ranch, and vet ranch, right?
Yeah, but just off the ranch for this kind of stuff. This is where we do this kind of stuff.
That's pretty fun. Off the ranch. I'll put a link in the description. Guys, if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button below. New content every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show. Hey, quick afterthought. This is cool. We're in the back of the house here. This is the section that had the rock installed traditionally with brick ties, and then there's another section over here that has stucco. And look, you can see the mason coated this cavity where the rock was. So this is the outside face, and he stuffed way too much mortar in there, such that it was actually touching the house wrap, and you can see how it ripped off when the rock came off. And what happened over here, Matt?
This one took all the lettering with it.
You can actually see the house wrap.
So that's bad. That probably messes with the waterproofing.
It does, because what happens now is it basically wicks water right in. So when the stone gets wet, the stone and the mortar especially are porous. When they get wet in a rainstorm, it's wicking in. And that might have been actually what happened there, Matt.
Yep.
Is that might have been a section that happened mold-wise, because we had actual mortar touching. And it's why when we're doing rock installs like this, we actually want an air gap back there. And there's a couple dimple products that I use. Dorkin makes one that's a dimple mat that goes back there, so that when your mason comes and puts the rock up, we still have an air gap. And I bet all that would have been prevented had we had an air gap back there. And one last thing to check out. Look at how bad it is over here on his weirdo shower tower. Same thing
You're just
happening.
jealous.
I am jealous of the shower tower. All right, y'all. Next time from the abandoned mansion, we're going to be working on sheathing, hopefully. We'll see y'all later.